Hi YouTube, this is Felicia with Bible Scraps, and I am back with my first project using the Gemini Junior, which recently debuted on HSN a little over a week ago. Now, I did a review, my first look at this machine, and if you have not seen it, I think it will be worth your while to check it out. I will have it linked in my description box. Now, I must give a disclaimer. We have a baby in the house, so it's all things baby. I hear him right now trying to get into my craft room. I kind of have it closed off because this is not the most safe place to be for a almost 2-year-old, especially while I'm filming, but you might hear him. But in this video, we are going to make one of these oversized house tags, and I have some cool techniques and tips to share with you guys. Now, these are by Crafter's Companion. I picked these up about a month ago on HSN when they had the 24-hour craft fair. I don't think this particular house is still available, but there's a whole collection. There's a couple other houses, and if I remember, I will show them to you, because one of the other houses I plan on turning into a gingerbread house. So I'll show you what I used in a second, but I love houses. And I like how my door goes in this way. Last year I made some door tags. So when I saw these houses, I just had to pick them up. I love anything where you can build your own things. I love do it yourself. Take a look at how big they are. And yes, they work in the Gemini. I will test out this machine cutting out the die that cuts this house out. So let me show you what I used. These stamps are huge and they're red rubber, so I just had to pick them up. So you get the house, and then you get the coordinating stamps. You get a lot in this, and the price was absolutely fabulous. And this is the die. This house is called Bluebell Cottage, and the die is Cozy Cottage. And then there were assess stamps and dies you could pick up. And I used this tree here, and you see the stamps. And then there's dies available as well. Alrighty, so I already have my image stamped out, but I want to offer you several different ways you can stamp out this oversized image. It's big, and I don't think I have a block that will accommodate this house. I probably do, but you really don't need a block. What you can do, this is what I did, is ink up your image and hold it by the sides and drop it and press it down. That's exactly what I did for my image. Another way you can do it is to ink up your image, leave your stamp face up, and apply your paper down, and use your fingers or use a brayer. Or what you can do is use the panel as a stamping block. So you would remove all your smaller images, keep the house image on the panel, ink it up, flip it over, and press. Okay, so you have options there. Alrighty, so now we're going to cut out this die. And I'm pretty much following the sandwich in the manual, cutting thin metal dies. Now this is not an intricate die, so I do not need to use the sandwich for intricate die. Now, when Sarah demonstrated cutting out these house dies, she stated to cut then stamp, but I like to stamp then cut, so you can do it either way. I'll show you how I do mine. I stamped it out and then just place my die over the image, and I've had very good results every time I've done this. It may not work for every single stamp, but it definitely works for this one. And then I add a little bit of washi tape to hold it down. You can add washi tape in a couple places there. Okay, and now I'm going to follow the sandwich in the manual. My clear cutting plate, my plastic shim, my magnetic shim, and then, let's see, the die and the material to cut, and then my clear cutting plate. Another thing I love about this machine, in addition to the cutting power, these plates are so light. You can easily manage these plates. It's very ergonomical and it glides in so smooth. Now, I should have cut down my paper a little bit, but I'm going to send it through anyway. And the machine is on the quiet side. Oh, did I push you in? Okay, there you go. Got to make sure you push it in. It's so easy and simple to manage. Turn that off. Okay. And you see the little house design. Let me get all this to the side. You want to pull out your die cut gently. You don't want to tear it, so take your time. And you see how the windows cut out? There's also cuts here. The door opens, and then there's a cut here. So you get embossing and you get cuts throughout the whole die. Okay, so now I'm going to offer you my no fuss coloring technique because I didn't want to color. And I thought to stamp out the house and colored cardstock after the fact. So I had these stamped out, so I needed to color them. Well, I used my Color Blend Spectrum Noir and Aqua Blend. And you'll see why I call it no fuss, because I'm not following the rules. So I took a lighter colored pencil, and you could take any color you like, and I just went over kind of everything with a light color pencil. Now, the reason why it's no fuss, well, number one, I'm just randomly coloring, right? Number two, I'm not using that special solution that's used with these pencils to blend it in. I don't really care about that. I just wanted some color. For the aqua markers, well, you're supposed to use water, right? Well, I did not use water. It's no fuss. And I like how this turned out. Ooh, I'm a good artist. Okay, now let me give you a tip on how I created my windows. And you do see my windows look different. And I'll talk about that in a second. Okay, so you can take colored vellum in yellow to create your windows. You could cut out a sheet to cover the whole this whole panel in the back, or you could individually cut it down and glue it on to each window. Or if you don't have colored vellum, what you can do is take clear vellum. Take an alcohol marker. This is one of the rare occasions where I like using this tip here, and color your vellum. That's exactly what I did for this one. I colored this vellum yellow, and I actually like, well, depending on what colors of yellow you have, you will get a different look. I mean, they both turned out nice. Now, the reason why my windows here, well, you see it here. It's yellow on this side and green on this side. Number one, can you tell that I have a tree in the window? I was totally going for that look. So let me show you what I did there. Put the vellum on the back, and then I took the tree, which came, here's the die. I showed the stamp already. And I placed the tree in the back. But you really can't see it because the tree needed to be a certain distance away from the vellum. I know how to achieve that, but I wanted these tags to be simple. But I do have trees, a tree here in this window and a tree in that window. I guess I could have made it pop out by adding little crystals and gems and things like that. But nonetheless, it didn't necessarily work for these tags. But the vellum, I love it because it gives you the look that there are lights turned on in your house. Okay, so let me turn these over because, well, what you could do, you could cut out a full-size house. You can trace the house and then cut it out and use the trace as a backing. Or you could do what I did. I took a die from this set here by Spellbinders, and I used the large frame to create these little like tags on the back. And what I will do is write to and from. Okay, so let me turn it back over and explain why, and you probably figured it out, why my windows here are green. Well, I added the green backing, and that turned my yellow vellum green on this side. For the backing here, I added a cream colored backing, so it really did not change the color of my yellow windows. So keep that in mind. If you do add a solid colored backing, it will change the color of your windows. Okay, so how I created my snow. Well, if you've watched my videos the last couple months, you've seen me use this neon amplify. But before I use this, and this is optional, I use Sparkle Silk by Fun Stampers Journey. And I added the sparkle to the entire roof. Now this is optional. I do like the look that it gave because the roof kind of protrudes out, so it's not laying flat, and I like that. I used a different color silk for this roof here. Take your neon amplify and just add it sporadically. You can follow the lines. This stuff comes out really quick. It's not watery, but it can come out, you know, a lot at a time. And just add it, right? Add it wherever you have or wherever you want snow, on your roof. And then take your glitter and add it to your neon amplify while it's still wet. You can heat set this with a heat gun, or you can let it air dry. Now, another tip I want to share, if you add a backing to your house tag, you could take your X-Acto knife and cut your door out. I didn't do that yet here, but I did do it here. And once again, your door can swing both directions, in and out. And the final thing to do would be to add your pole, add your twine, and you have a tag to hang from that special gift. Now, these can be cards, they can be card fronts. You could do a whole lot with these. Sarah demonstrated a whole village that I would love to make one day. Well, if you have been inspired by my creativity, why not give me a thumbs up and like this video? Also, subscribe right now if you are interested in tutorials of all types. Feel free to share this video. Feel free to adopt any of my ideas. I only ask for proper credits. Do give shout outs and do link back to this video. Well, I want to thank you all for watching. As always, blessings.